A tragic incident that has taken place in Bangladesh. A young lawyer has been killed during violent clashes at the Chittagong court premises in Bangladesh. The unrest erupted following the court's denial of bail to Sanatan Jagran Manch spokesperson Chinoy Krishna Das Brahmachari, he was arrested at the Dhaka airport on charges of sedition. Now, the protest quickly escalated into violence as police fired sound grenades and used batons to disperse the crowd as well. In the chaos, advocate Saiful Islam was critically injured and later succumbed to his injuries. Now, this comes at a time when Hindus are also being targeted in Bangladesh, and several Hindu temples, including a Kali Mandir, has been completely vandalized recently. Joining us on the broadcast is Hasan Tariq Chaudhary, who is an advocate in the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. Sir, thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to Newsx. Tragic developments from Bangladesh. We've seen the arrest of a very prominent ISKCON leader, and the fallout of that has of course been violent protests and the death of one very prominent lawyer as well. What do you make at the outset of the loss of life?
Thank you, Newsx. First of all, we condemn the killing of the young lawyers who was in the mob during the clash, and he was being targeted by the outlaws and hooligans during the mob. But thing is that the Bangladesh as a whole is in a process of reconciliation and restoring the law and order situation. And the people and the government all are trying to restore the law and order situation. But we have seen that using the pretext of mob and outrages, some antisocial elements and some people are creating a very critical situation which leads to a further violence in the country and which cannot be accepted by the peace-loving people of Bangladesh.
Indeed, sir, you've spoken about a reconciliation a lot, but if we take a look at what's taken place over the last couple of months, we've been seeing reports of a lot of Hindus having been targeted in Bangladesh by radical groups especially. They've been attacked, their houses have been set on fire, their places of worship have also been desecrated. Yet another case, fresh case of a Kali Mandir having been completely destroyed has also come to light. And the UNO's government continues promising that it will take action against these elements. It's promised the safety of minorities in Bangladesh, but somehow we're seeing a lack of action with regards to this. Why so?
Yes, you see, the legacy and the history of Bangladesh is a history of communal harmony, and the country was established on the basis of the secular thought. But what we have seen nowadays, even after the regime change, the situation is deteriorated because some of vested interest group, they are trying to destabilize the country using the current situation, and that is why it was instigated by the people who are not supported by the common people. Hindus and Muslims are in Bangladesh living very peacefully together in the same society. And both of them are very frequent to their religious festival, and they are living with a traditional friendship. But what is happening after the regime change? Some radical groups are trying to gain their narrow political interest using the pretext of the minority causes, and that is why in some places minorities are being targeted by the radical groups, the religious extremist groups that was not supported by the common people of Bangladesh. Common people are very peace-loving. They want a peaceful coexistence, a secular Bangladesh, and that is why you see when the Sadhu Chinmay Das, who was brought before the court for the bail, and the bail was rejected by the learned magistrate court of Chittagong, and it was not accepted by the Sanatan people, the Hindu people, that they thought that Chinoy Krishna Das was in the just cause for the 8-point demand of the combined Sanatan Awareness Alliance, who are demanding who are in the struggle in the street for 8-point demands, and that is mainly focused on the security of the religious minority, particularly the Hindu community, and the protection of the temples. That was a just and very much democratic demand. But you see, there is the due process of the court when there is an allegation. It is the duty of the court to investigate the matter and settle it later after the investigation and after the hearing of both sides of the lawyers regarding that case. But when some aggrieved people, they tried to violate the due process of the court, then the law enforcing agencies, they tried to stabilize the situation. On that mob, there are some antisocial and vested interest groups. They created the unwanted situation and unfortunately killed the young lawyer, which was not acceptable by any people of the countries. And that's why situation has now been complicated, and it signals so many complications in the social harmony and in the peaceful politics of Bangladesh.
So you've spoken about vested interest groups and a lot of extremist groups that are now cropping up, especially after the regime change. I'd like to highlight what's happened this month itself. There's been, in fact, a Chittagong-based outfit, the Hifazat-e-Islam, that has openly called for the killing of ISKCON devotees. So what action should then the government take against such groups with vested interests, with extremist thoughts that are openly calling for the death of people?
You see, the Bangladesh is now in a very fluid situation. And Chittagong, yes, it is true that Chittagong is the initial base of the Hifazat-e-Islam, and also is a very stronghold of the ISKCON society. And they are for many years they were in a political or ideological debate, and that was going on. But this sort of situation never happened. The killing of lawyers and the vandalizing in the street and damaging the property of the ordinary people, it was not happened earlier. But when it happened, it creates a natural reaction among the ordinary people. And when a chaos was created, and normally there are some there are some narrow political groups, radical groups, they always try to utilize that situation to make their narrow ideological or political gain. And you see the Hifazat-e-Islam, which was very much patroned by the previous regime, and that previous regime was promoted the Hifazat-e-Islam, and they had a very good understanding with the Hifazat-e-Islam. And because of the patronizing from the several regimes, including the present regimes, Hifazat to some extent has some privilege to continue their activities. But this sort of activity never allowed by the government, even by the interim government which is now ruling the country. The chief advisor of the present interim government of Bangladesh already said that the government will not tolerate any sort of violence and vandalizing in the street and the loss of the people's life and property.
Indeed, I remember that there were several clashes that had also taken place during Durga Puja that was being celebrated by Bangladeshi Hindus. Of course, then a large amount of security forces were deployed by the Bangladeshi government in order to protect. Have been threatened as well. So, what is the government doing to tackle these such issues? Are cases being filed with regards to this?
Yes, you see, because of the regime change and because of the popular uprising of the people in the July and August, the police administration has totally been destroyed, and many police officials has been killed, and police nowadays is restoring his order and trying to get back his capacity to make law and order situation in the normal stage. So police is not that much capable to manage the whole situation like before. And that is why our people, the people of Bangladesh, who are very much peace loving, who are very much secular in mind, they are making a social awareness to protect our minority citizens, even the religious and ethnic minorities. But you see, not every time, not everything is not in the control of the police, not in the control of the government. Since the interim government is very new and very unique in the current feature of Bangladesh. So that is why it is very much vulnerable situation for the religious and ethnic minority, particularly the Hindu people. And our hope is that our people do not uh, accept any sort of violence, any sort of anarchy, and any sort of communal riots in Bangladesh. So since our people is very much peace loving and friendly, I hope the people will protect the country, the people will protect the sovereignty, the people will protect our brothers who belong to the religious minority groups.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.